someone, sir.
Okay. Don't worry. Don't
Sir.
worry. Now, I request Bhagwati to invite Professor Raghavan Paida.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Can I start, sir? Sir?
Yes, please. You start.
Hey, good evening, all. Today we are having a lecture with Raghavan, sir. Professor Raghavan, sir, yesterday he gave the introduction of this workshop. We learned about the three major questions what we are going to discuss in this workshop, which is that methodology of legislators kept in the darkness, who gave the importance in photo study, which each and everything is very important by each community, but modern academic discipline kept its methodology in the dark. Why it is happened? Sir gave the insight of in this subject, and sir told in this workshop we are going to discuss this one. And even the Alan Dundas, sir, he did not recognize in like other disciplinary scholars, he did not get the what others they get this name. And even that sir told yesterday, knowledge categorization. We are going to discuss in this workshop knowledge categorization in this modern education system or modern academic system. How knowledge categorize science and humanities. In science, it is pure science that deals with physical world. And in this humanities deals with human created society and feelings and all this. The folklore studies comes under the humanities. Why it is discrimination, other discipline like this, sir yesterday he discussed. I welcome Raghavan Painat, sir, in this today's talk, introduction talk. On behalf of all participants, I welcome, sir, you. Thank you all, given this opportunity. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Ma. Thank you, Bhagavati. Before starting the class, I think yesterday we have asked you to submit a note on yesterday's class. Only one person has just submitted that note. I request all of you to make it a point to submit those notes every day before class starts. So there is no excuse. You need to submit. Okay? At least today, because the first day you have given some freedom, but by tomorrow you should give the note for both the classes. Okay, now I request Professor Raghavan Pairarji.
Yeah. Sir, we have to submit to Folklore Institute mail, na, sir? Puzzles workshop mail.
Yeah, it is. You have to send it to the email address of Folklore Institute.
Yeah, we
then
send to that.
He will forward that to concerned persons or evaluators and myself also, and look into that, and accordingly we are going to deal with this today's class, because before entering into the class, I think we have to discuss if some serious problem in yesterday class, and if some clarification more is needed, then I can give that, and even evaluators also can talk about that. So that is why we wanted that. It is for the sake of the participants, not for us. So keep it in mind that send that. I think that by the 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock every day. So that is part of, it's a kind of, it's a model workshop that we are going to conduct. How to organize a workshop, that also is important also. So hereafter, when you organize a workshop, you have to do like this, because this is a strict one, and I would like to request all the participants to stick on the rules and regulations, because it is instruction that we have given day for yesterday itself, that what is its workshop and what are the responsibility as far as participants are concerned. So I think tomorrow you will be able to. 1 minute. Yes, Shivakumar. Can
Hello.
you put that? Yeah.
Master.
Can you show them our PowerPoint?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah. Now it is the time. Okay, make it PowerPoint. This full screen. Then only it can be seen. Yeah.
Excuse me, Raghavan sir, I have
Yeah.
a small question.
Yeah. Yeah. Why not?
Oh, hello.
Hello. I am hearing. Yeah.
Okay, Kainat. Sir, actually, I feedback whatever it was asked in the last session, that we have to write a small feedback.
Sir, link
what we have learned in the classes.
YouTube.
Am I audible?
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay, sir. So I have actually sent feedback to B. Shivkumar sir's email ID. So maybe that is the reason that my feedback has not been received from your end yet. Can you please specify that in which email ID I have to send the feedback?
Yeah, that is Institute for Indian Folklore. That the same the first intimation that you got in a mail, no? That is
Okay, sir.
our mail, and it is taken care of by Dr. Reddy, Bhaktavatsal Reddy, and it will be forwarded to our evaluators and myself, and we will look into, and we will. Now, if there is some serious issues, then we will discuss later. Okay, thank you.
Sir, so,
Okay.
sir, thank you. Thank you, sir.
So, let us begin. Good morning. Hello. Yeah, it's always classes are starting in the morning session. No? So, yeah, good evening to everybody. So, yesterday we have completed this subject matter of this workshop for 15 days. Out of that, 10 days is marked for me. Out of that, 4 sessions are devoted for this knowledge production and this industrialization and development, all these things. And after that, remaining six or five, I think, I don't know exactly, that is dealing with the folklore. On the background of this knowledge, that the first 4 sessions, because it deals with the knowledge system, how that knowledge system is related to the developmental process as well as industry and so many other things, and even politics also, international politics also. So without this a clear understanding of that, we can't do, then we can't evaluate what the position of folklore in the gamut of this academic arena. So that is the intention. So yesterday we talked about a lot about this knowledge system, and at a glance. But now we had to go in detail each and every idea that I noted yesterday. So I think then you will get a clear picture of this subject. So today's talk is on, as you see, knowledge and the existing concept of development, how it is related, and how it works. And I think we had to start with this how we identify a discipline, whether it belongs to science, social science, or humanities. Now, without understanding that we are doing everything, so we had to have a clear picture, clear understanding, clear idea about what exactly a discipline and what exactly is subject, and our subject, that folklore, the position of folklore is we have to locate folklore. We will be able to locate folklore then very easily. So next slide, please. Okay, domain of knowledge. Now, whatever knowledge we have. Now, before that, I have to bring to your notice another thing that nowadays people are telling about this folk knowledge, tribal knowledge, and so many things. But as far as the definition of knowledge is concerned, we have a difference. We have to see a difference between knowledge and practice. Practice is not knowledge. Nowadays, we don't understand. No, we never consider this idea, and whatever a tribal people never thought about this knowledge. They are practicing everything from the earlier generation. They get this practice through their practice. They through tradition they get this how to work, how to live. Actually, how to live. So that is they don't have any knowledge as such. But nowadays people used to tell that it is a tricky way of taking away their practice, and the people who wanted to make it knowledge and get registration, IPR or something, IPR or PR or something, copyright or something, and they will make money. Because practice and knowledge are different. Practice means without the knowledge. Knowledge is something conceptualized, something. It is inside the mind. No, they have the knowledge, but it is not. They don't know that what kind of knowledge they have. By practice, that is in their memory, and how to behave in a particular situation, cultural situation, how to behave. Behavioral pattern is there. So that is not a knowledge actually. Knowledge is that when these cultural practice collect it and then generalize it. There are so many texts for that particular practice, and put those things together and generalize that, and we find out the general principle, general principle, then it becomes knowledge. So that is the way. So that is why a particular folk or tribe, they can't go for an IPR directly, because it has its own knowledge, has its own definition, how to get registered. So this such problem we have to understand, then only we can understand everything. As far as this knowledge is concerned, you say in the last Shivkumar, the first one, you put the first one. Okay, first one. Okay, yeah, this one. Okay, so in this universe, we have two things. So we have only two things we have. That is nature, including our physique, mind, and everything what is given by, if God is there, by him, or as a system, we have something in this universe. Whatever they are considered as nature. Then, as a human being, we are able to create regularly. We are understanding outside, perceiving the outside reality, and get this understanding that, and we create knowledge, and accordingly we perceive, and then we create this that change that situation, change the nature. That is called culture. Without obstructing culture, no human being can create a culture and create culture. So that is why nature and culture are in opposition. Levi-Strauss used to say that nature and culture are in opposition because of this reality. So nature in one side, and whatever we work on this nature and find out something new out of that is called culture. So that may be conceptualize something, systems, even this family system or social system or anything, and whatever our agricultural system, everything is invented by human being. That is called culture. Then, as far as the data, no, don't change. Only when I say that, Shivkumar, don't change that. When Shivkumar, oh, this is a problem. Shivkumar, the first one. Yeah, first one will come. No, I will tell when you had to shift, go to the next. I will tell next, then only you change that, otherwise it will be on the way. So nature, on nature, from nature, we can create knowledge out of nature. Then that is called pure science and technology. Two kinds of knowledge that we create. Whatever the knowledge we have so far, it is either, if it is based on the data is nature, then either it is pure science, and as a proceeding from that to technology. Pure science is the basic principles behind this reality, diverse reality. Then there is a clear-cut research methodology in science, and through that methodology, we find out the universal truth, at least generalization, not a universal truth. In the beginning, it will be something like generalization. So that later, when it is proved as universal truth, by applying this on different nature, different situations of nature, then it is proving, we are able to prove that it is right. Whatever generalization put forward by a particular scientist is applicable to all situations, all time and space. So then it becomes universal truth. That universal truth is called is this pure science. Then the next part of that is, now science is innocent by itself. There's a knowledge, it is inside the mind, and it will never make any offense to anybody. But it won't stop there. Immediately when you get a knowledge as a behavior of human behavior, we wanted to test that, or we want to apply that the source on, we apply that on the source itself and find out that we can change that or not. If you have a knowledge on a particular natural situation, then you are able to change that situation. Yeah, you can change that situation. So if it is naturally, if you have a knowledge or science, then the next step is that principle you can apply on the reality from where this science principle of science was invented. That is then we found out a rule for that, how we can change this, change the nature. From nature we get this rule of the nature, and when we get that knowledge of that principle behind that nature, then the next step is that we try to apply that on the same nature from where we got this principle. That is called the rule. Then that kind of a rule is called technology. Then the next part is culture. In this universe, the whatever nature, if you minus nature, then you get this culture. That is even we create for culture, we have so many things and so many ideas behind this definition of culture. Then somebody used to say that culture is something that when you identify something as a human being, anything in this world, it becomes part of culture, because it loses its natural quality or natural truth, natural feature, and you understand that in your own way means it became part of culture. So that kind of definition also is there. Now next one. So Shivkumar. So it is very difficult. So Shivkumar. So next one is in my mind it is there. So I will continue that also. So the next slide is something about this categorization of this knowledge. That is knowledge. Yeah, this one. We have this science and humanities, and science, pure science, and so pure science and technology. I didn't consider in this categorization. We have pure science, and one side we have science, and the other side humanities. And humanities is the culture part of the understanding of the scientific study of human creation, what they created in this world. It may be art, literature, or anything, and social system, or anything in this universe that created by the human being. Then if you study that, it is part of humanities. So then humanities is there still. Later in the research methodology, the same objective, empirical, the science always go for this empirical and objective, this way of understanding the thing. So in the same way, humanities people, the scholars wanted to work on this humanities also with this aids, that is keeping the objectivity and if possible, empirism. Empirism is not possible. Still, objectivity is the main concern of these people. Then it becomes a social science. It behaves. Yeah, social science has two qualities. That is, at the same time, it is humanities, and at the same time, it shows some features of the pure science also. That is the thing. Next one. Yeah. So, nature to culture. That is one thing. How we create this culture. We have knowledge that about this universe or anything. Then that knowledge creates ideology. Ideology is nothing but in between the sensory organs or this perception of the human being. If it is something sight in outside world that I am seeing through my eyes, suppose, then there is a sea in between the object that I am seeing and my eyes. We are not seeing the reality as such. Nobody can. That is the thing. Whatever we identify, whatever we cognize, that is something that is special because you have an ideology in your mind. That ideology works, and accordingly, you are able to understand the outside world, whatever it is, object or society or anything like that. So a Marxian way of understanding thing is different from a capitalist view of understanding the same object. That is why discrepancy always happening in this world, because ideological difference. So knowledge creates ideology, and ideology decides perception. How to perceive, what to perceive. This such thing is decided by the ideology, and ideology conceiving is in accordance with the perception. Whatever you perceived, then it goes inside the mind as something, a state of some understanding that is conceiving, that will be inside the mind, and you are able to recreate yourself and the surrounding reality according to how do you conceive this reality. That is called culture. You are able to recreate yourself and the surrounding reality. That is also part of culture. Yesterday yesterday or today itself, before this program, I was not the same as now I am, because in between so many things entered into I conceived so many things, and I modify myself, recreate myself each and every moment. And at the same time, I am trying to recreate the outside also. That is nature or culture. The existing culture or nature, I can interfere and I can change. I am able to change. That is why Levi-Strauss used to say that how do you perceive, accordingly you create. So next one. So humor. So production of knowledge is at its different level. This as you see here, this universe is indiverse. Diversity is the feature of this universe. Not only that, our culture, whatever we create also in this world, that also in diversity. So whatever we get, it is as far as research is concerned, it is data for the study. As an academician, whatever we have, if whether it is nature or culture, it is part of, it is a data for his analysis or interpretation. So diverse truth is there, diversity is there, diverse reality is there in nature as well as in culture, and through generalization, we reach universal truth. So science always go for this experiment, and he gets a different text he is having, whether it is biology or zoology or botany or physics or chemistry, anything. The principle is that there is diverse reality, and there is the methodology is to come to a final truth, ultimate truth, only one. So it is the denial that will come a little bit later, a denial of the reality. So we reach some universal truth, that is this science through generalization. Even in social science also, people used to do that. Academicians used to do that. That is why, as far as anthropologists are concerned, Chalaperumal is here, he knows better than me, that a marriage ceremony, a part of the marriage ceremony, and the death ritual ceremony, there is they found through their analysis they found out that they both are, that particular part of ceremony is departing ceremony. It's a universalizing. No? It is a unification. That is the diversity. As a reality, a death ritual is nothing to do with the marriage ceremony. But as far as anthropology is concerned, as a social science, they look at this different ceremony and death ritual and find out that people know some part of the marriage ceremony, one group of people giving the bride to the other group, and that there is a departure from one family to another family, one society to another society. So that departure is there. And in death ritual, there is another world. Somebody, when we die, we believe that, most of the community believe that we have this life and it is that they are not forever, they are not going, they are moving from this universe to this world to another world. So there are two groups, one receiving group as well as one this giving group, departing group. So that as far as ritual is concerned, these two are concerned, it's a departing ceremony as well as accepting ceremony. So the same thing that our this when we retire, we get this function. No, we are sending them to the other group. A pensioner is not when he get retire, then he is no more in that group. He belongs to some other group. So this is as far as science, anthropology is concerned. These are universal things. So this is the way they find out the truth. So the next part is technology. That is the application of universal principles on the source from where it was innovated. That is the thing. Then the same thing that that's when Shiva. You may be knowing that Bhasmasura. That Shiva gave this Bhasmasura this some wound that whoever, now if you touch somebody's head on somebody's head, then his head will be destroyed. Then he wanted to test that. It's a new knowledge to him. He wanted to test that. Where to test? The source, not his own head. The source is, it came from that knowledge, came from Shiva, and he wanted to examine that, whether it is right one or not. He wanted to test, and he wanted to put his head on Shiva. He has no other go. He was traveling, and running, and that story is there. At last, he was by mistake, he put his own head, made him to act like that, and he himself destroyed himself. So this is knowledge. If we get a knowledge, we wanted to test that. That happens. No, that is application of any knowledge. That is, as far as science is concerned, it is called as technology. As social science are concerned, it is application of that particular social science. Applied anthropology, applied linguistics, applied so many others, applied sociology, applied psychology we have. So that is the kind of, but humanities, pure humanities, we don't have such a thing, because it is not a basic principle that these humanities. The next step is that then if you apply this technology usually on nature systematically, then that is called industry. And application of technology leads to industry. That is, we call as after Renaissance industrialization, because new knowledge has come, objective, there's truth and empirical truth, and they wanted to prove this. Then I want to apply that on nature, and nature becomes a raw material for them, and that raw material, when a particular industry, we put that particular natural facts or natural submatter in that industry, then you get a fine product. Then what happens? Then that product, I will explain that later. Now, within 2-3 sentences, I can conclude this. Consumerism, the last source, last part of this process is that consumerism. That product becomes a commodity. I will explain later, because anyway, it is another class is on industry. Knowledge and industry is also coming. So, at last, as a commodity, it has a value. Demand decides the value of any product. So that demand is consumption of that particular product by somebody. So according to their demand, it gets a value, money value, and they wanted to get more and more consumers, then that kind of the whole act put together, then we call as consumerization. So next one. Yeah, Kumar. This is, yeah. Then what happened? Evolutionary path of culture. Then we are coming to the social science. The first social science that we have is anthropology. And as you know, this biological evolution theory by this Darwin. And parallel to that, Morgan and others came forward with the cultural evolution theory. That theory, you see, they used to say that how the culture evolved. Then in this universe, we have different kinds of people, those who are living in the forest as part of the nature, and those who are living in the villages, cultivating and maiting, this grazing this cow and other animals, and that is village people. And then we have cities. After nights, and we have so many cities, people live after this technology-based products. So by rating this, not only this, so many other features also, I am talking about the basic thing also, not only basic things. So studying all these, looking on these all cultures available in this world, and they framed a rule that the evolution of culture is in this line. And they proved that by so many studies, and that is primitive to barbaric and barbaric to civilized. So it is the destiny. They created the destiny. They decided the destiny of the humanity. What is the ultimate goal of the humanity, if somebody asks? No doubt about that. Anthropology established this theory, and it is taken care of by by whole disciplines, the whole world. What is the ultimate aim of this life of humanity? To attain civilization. That is, if possible, 100% technological life. Can live in cities. That is why this is the crux of the whole talk. Maybe this class. This is the crux of the thing that we are going to deal with hereafter. Next one. Cultural evolution theory has been in extents in different terminology in this guise. You see this cultural evolution theory about the culture, and later it became, you see, nobody was talking after some time, nobody was talking about in 20th century, after this first half of first quarter of the 21st century, nobody was talking about this cultural evolution theory as such. Because colonialism is at its it is so strong on those days, and after that, this industrialization was very popular, and our economy and everything got changed. And slowly, what happened? You see, parallel to this cultural evolution theory, in disguise, some other things also come into that scene. You see, first world countries, yeah, second world countries, and third world countries. I don't want to go in detail. It's a political tool. What is first world, We are the third world countries people, yes, Indians. Why? Instead of this cultural terminology, primitive, barbaric, when they came as a to colonize India, they told that we are barbaric. Then later, this terminology used as third world countries. We were in third world countries, and some countries are in second world countries and first world countries, like that. And later, that's capitalism is very, very, very strong. Even though nation state has come, after that, the strong hold of this capitalism, then it couldn't work. Our socialism and communism, where it is now. What is the fate of these such ideas now? Because it is something to do with the capitalistic economic this thing. Then in disguise, another terminology, evolution theory, has come into the scene, that undeveloped, developing and developed. Now that is playing the great role in our life, in our politics, in our cultural thing, everywhere. This concept is ruling everything. Whatever happening in each and every minute, in our politicians and our leaders and so many people and even scientists used to tell about this development. India is considered a developing country. There are developed countries and undeveloped countries. You see, in 1999, no, 1989, this UNESCO came forward with the suggestions for how to safeguard folklore and other things, and the member countries they requested the member countries to safeguard folklore, and well, there are so many suggestions on that. But the developed countries, they don't want to put in. They are not part of that. It is binded only to the developing countries, not even to developed countries and undeveloped countries. It is not a problem. This never come to discussion. Everything was for developing countries like India and maybe some parts of Africa and other countries. So that is why you see in 1990, I will explain later. I think there is an international interference in folklore that is in 1999. Again, in the meeting, Britain and America don't want to participate in that meeting. They are not for that. They told no, because the decision was that developed countries are to take the responsibility of these such decisions, to materialize the decision. So they don't want. So that is the thing happening. So economic, cultural terminology became political terminology. Then it became economic terminology, and everything. Now we are talking about purchasing power and GDP. This is the thing that we are going to. Next one. Now you may be thinking that, Shivamar, you may be thinking that why I am talking about these things, nothing to do with the folklore as such. That is why you wanted to tell something about this, and what is the relation between these things in 1918, 1952 onwards, this political and this economical things interfere with folklore, and that I wanted to bring to your notice. Chimumar, next. Function of social science in this regard. You see, cultural evolution theory, establishment of theories such as, you see, cultural evolution theories by anthropologists, early anthropologists, and it was very well in the academic era. Establishment of theories such as man everywhere the same by psychologists, and the idea that mankind is you see in this modernity, that we accepted this one after Renaissance. We accepted that we are the center of everything. The idea that mankind is the center of the universe, and it is for its exploitation. This world, this universe, it is for us, for human being, which is in the evolutionary, it is part of the evolutionary thought. Because in when we consider all the creations, it is all this creation through metamorphosis, and you see it is Darwin's evolution theory. Then the last species is the human being with brain, such a good brain. So he is the master of the world, and this universe is for the exploitation of and making use of these humanity. So that idea was so relevant on those days. Establishment of theories in support of the consumption of a universal product, and later, even today also, we are discussing about establishment of theories in support of the consumption of universal product. That is what all project that we are getting from either from UGC or any national body, or from private bodies such as Tata Institute or any other institute or small or big institute. that is based on this one, consumption of universal product. The last, this, everything ends with this idea. Next one. Chivumar, yeah. Role of knowledge in creating concept of development. One.
What happened, sir? Hello? Your voice is not. Hello?
Sir, Ravan Maharshi is not in the screen.
Yes.
I am muted.
Oh,
It is
please.
muted because I have some little problem with me. So, okay, thank you. Sorry for that interruption. Okay. So, role of knowledge in creating concept of development. So, everything is by knowledge. If we don't have any knowledge, nothing happens in this universe. So, knowledge production, that is education as part. So, knowledge production is the main thing that we had to consider, and folklore is part of that knowledge production, a kind of knowledge production. So, the ongoing concept of development. What is that ongoing concept of development? Development is, as you know, but what is called as development? Development is nothing but this production. And production, everything is aimed at production, industrial products. Everybody, each state, our state wanted to start new industry and new products, and they used to say that it gives opportunity to labor, and if people get labor, they get the purchasing power, and it will be like that, and that is development. So it is related to that. The ongoing concept of development is how much we can produce industrial product. And as a continuation of that, the industrial product, then that industrial product happens. Now, what happens to that industrial product? That consumerism, it will be sold out, and in the industry, they get, not only industry, in the marketing also, people get used to get labor, and they get money out of that, and it will be spent on this purchase of the fine products that is in the market. So it's a round, now it's a circular thing. So that is the ongoing concept of development, nothing else. The parameter for the development is the rate of consumption of industrial product. That is given by the anthropologists. Still, we are continuing the same concept, that what is the parameter for the development? How much, in one side, how much you produce this industrial product. And the other side, what is the purchasing power of the particular community, particular state, particular nation, that is considered as the GDP or something? No, that is also called development. Both are complementary to each other. One regulates the other, in vice versa also. I don't want to explain more. We don't have much time. The ultimate goal of all scientific innovations is directly or indirectly aimed at the production of universal commodities. So the ultimate goal of all scientific innovations is directly or indirectly aimed at the production of universal commodities. So the market is very, very important. So the production side, all producers, that means industrialized, wanted to sell their goods. Their consumers shall be the whole world. That is their longing. So they wanted to expand this market all over the world, and that is why I don't want to come now on that particular area. So anyway, they wanted to elaborate, expand the market all over the world, and that leads to globalization in some way. So ultimate goal of scientific innovations is directly or indirectly aimed at the production of universal commodities. So somehow or other, the knowledge production, scientific knowledge production, come with a new scientific knowledge, and that knowledge becomes technology, and that technology, because as a project, and then when somebody gives a project to find out the problem that this kind of urge is there in the society, and we have to satisfy that need, how? Then that question asked, that then that kind of a project is given to somebody, and they work on that, and they find out this remedy for that, and innovation, new innovation in that line. Then it becomes technology, and then industry, and it produce production market. So any knowledge, especially scientific knowledge, the ultimate is universal commodities. The ultimate goal of social sciences, humanities, is directly or indirectly tame the people, human mind, in taming for the consumption of universal products, including social systems and behavioral patterns. So what is the, we were talking about this science. Then what about social science? What is the role of social science in this evolution movement, development movement? That is somehow or other, the ultimate goal of social science. No, there is exception. There may be exception. I'm not talking about everybody, but the major, the trend is like that. The ultimate goal of social science is tame the humanity to consume the universal products. No, that is all the time. No, as a part of the tradition, part of the behavioral pattern they have, it is very difficult to impose some new products in a particular community or society. So before that, you have to tame them. You have to realize them that it is, now the thing is that you will be a civilized man by using this. It will satisfy you, and slowly social science create ideas and disseminate that ideas in the society, and somehow or other people will slowly accept the new products. Actually, if you go through this social science, the theories in social science, during modernism, modernism is supporting this industrialization. Only for that modernism, that idea has had developed. And when a time has come that stagnation in capitalism by this nation state, the socialist, communist ideas so powerfully came to the scene, then they changed that step, that a deviation, and by that universal, by that the new way of understanding the political and economic system, we accepted that through these social sciences. So that is the role of social science. That is, we will come again also. This is the crux of globalization. So who is responsible for globalization? Actually, it is academicians, because science and technology leads to this market, these products and market, new market and consumerism. And the other way, the social science make the people in the particular community, if the community resists, usually the resistance may be there. So even this international, this war, sometimes, I don't want to specify that because it is a political thing. So even this international war that happened the last decades, behind that, this consumerism is working seriously. They refuse to accept these new products. A particular community, a particular nation, then they will suffer. They will be punished in some or other. So, next one. Yeah. Science and social science are in complementary. So, you see this diagram. Science moves towards technology. Technology moves towards industry. Then industry moves towards product, create products, and product becomes commodity when a product has a money value by the market, the demand of the consumers. Then it is part of the market. Then it will become commodity, and commodity is called commodification. Also, that the terminology is there. Commodity then create consumers. Then consumerism works. Then this worldwide expansion of the market of particular universal products, that made this situation of globalization. I don't want to. So what is the thing is that science, in the left thing you see science, technology and industry as science, the whole work that happens in the field of science in left hand. And what humanity is product, then product, that's from market it comes out, then it is a product, then product becomes commodity, consumerism and globalization is part of that. And all these things are promoted or analyzed through these humanities, social science and humanities. They are behind this consumption, consumerism. So that is the thing. Next one. What is the time now?
8 o'clock.
Okay.
8:04.
8:04. So I think we can have a break here, and if you want to ask something, you can ask.
Yeah, I think that's better.
Yeah.
Now I request the participants, if you have any doubt, you please interact. Before that, as you rightly pointed out, for the participants I am telling, you please send all your note to folkloreinstitute.fossils@gmail.com. I think most of the people, they have submitted. I'm sorry, I have seen it. I will transfer them afterwards. And now you please interact with the resource person of any, if you have any doubts or if you need any clarification, please.
Sir,
Yeah.
Padmini here. Sir, in the start you said that um, practice through practice knowledge is not gained. When you were talking about tribal knowledge and folk knowledge, you said about the practice.
Yeah.
And you said practice is different and knowledge is different.
Yeah.
Sir, I just wanted to know,
Yeah.
through practice, is knowledge not gained?
Yeah. No, it is not conscious. Practice is not by conscious mind. Practice is a situation arises. A particular situation, it's a particular culture, make them to act in such a way. But knowledge is when you produce the knowledge, it can be applied on different contexts. And you can change this nature as well as culture. But through practice, you can't never do that. Practice means you can practice and little bit textual variation can happen because of the pressure, natural environmental pressure or social pressure. Each and everything get cultural facts, get cultural trait, get different texts, but they can't change. Practice cannot be applied. That is the problem. Knowledge you can apply on any situation, but practice works only in that particular situation. It will take time, environment change or social change happens. It will take to get a new this text. It will take time also. Have you understood that?
Sir, could you substantiate with some examples, sir?
Okay, you can. But if somebody want to know, I think better this example is you see in tribal society. I have seen that in Wayanad near Tirunelli, in the summer they put bamboo this one in some upper part of the mountain, and through that bamboo the bamboo joined together and they get the water in their village. It is actually something they were practicing, they have been practicing this for the last so many centuries. They don't know why this water comes up. Something is on the top of the mountain. Why it comes down, they don't know. If they know that very well, and knowledge is behind that, they can easily, some other way also, they can find out a new method for that. So this gravitational force, if they know the gravitational force, if somebody knows the gravitational force, they can bring water from some place to another place and to anywhere. It can you see all these water projects, is that we are our state or state government used to create so many projects to fetch water. So that project is based on the this gravitational force. The force of the water in the top of the mountain is a particular gravitational force, and therefore it comes down. Then studying that, they can make use of that, application of that, and they can make use of that. But these people, for the last centuries, so many centuries, they were using the same thing. Why? It's a practice. They don't know the science behind that. Why it happens, they never ask. Why it happens, they have their own ideas, but it is not knowledge. Knowledge have an application part. The next one is technology. It leads to technology and change the nature. That is the thing. A practice never is able to change the context or the nature. That is the thing. You can proceed and proceed. That's all. Now you understood? You
Yes,
know
sir.
that there's a tribal medicine.
Ah,
They know the reason why that medicine works.
ah.
No, they never know. No, they know the situation. If a particular snake bited somebody, they know that what kind of a herb they have to use, but they can't answer the question why. The knowledge is the answer, mainly the question why. That is why all research begins with
Why?
the problem. And the next step is this question tag. You have to create question tag. Then at last you reach some principle. Now we understood?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah,
So
okay.
it can be that practice is backed by knowledge, but it backed by knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it is purposefully, this is done by this all over the world. This practice, not only in Kerala, not only in India, everywhere, this practice is as knowledge, and they between the community, different communities. Okay.
Sir.
Anybody else?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. This is Kanda
Yeah.
Subramaniam. Sir, thank you for the elaborated knowledge instructions, sir. Sir, is it possible to go for the previous slide, sir? Because
Shivakumar, the previous slide.
In the second slide.
Second slide or previous slide?
No, the second slide.
Second slide. Okay. Slide. The knowledge.
Yes.
That knowledge system.
Yes.
Okay.
Universal nature and culture. Previous.
That is the next one. The first one. Not the third one.
Yes, first one.
Yeah, third one. Not that. Yeah. Go back.
Previous.
Yeah. Okay.
Begin. Previous.
Yeah. Yeah, this one.
No,
yeah?
Sir. Yes, sir. Here.
This one.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Here we have some separation. We understood that nature and culture are opposite phenomena.
Yeah.
In that, nature we are segregating as pure science and technology, and culture as pure humanities and social science. Is this on the basis of our academic or this educational purpose reading, sir, or for?
No, it is. There is no difference between academic understanding and in reality, because it is a way of understanding this world.
Yes, sir. Yes, I understood that. As it is that a pottery maker, he is having a knowledge about the mud and soil, and with some technology, he is preparing a pot. He is creating a pot, and he is consuming himself, and he is making it as a commodity, and selling, sir. And we are learning about this, and as a lore, we are doing research about this, sir. This also comes under knowledge and technology.
Yeah, no. Knowledge and technology means knowledge all the time. It is a generalization, at least. We have different situations in our life also. In a traditional life, there are several texts for an event, or an act, or a reality, and people also used to understand that, and accordingly they understand, create ideas, and accordingly they act. But a new situation comes, context comes, they will be helpless. That is the problem with that. It will take time to, that is why I told that it will take time to create new text, because they don't have the knowledge. If knowledge is there, you can apply that immediately. You can apply that in the new situation, because you know the principle, why it happens. If the new situation means new context, or new situation means new that means it gets a new text. So that text can be analyzed by the same principle. And only it is universal principle. A universal principles have the quality of understanding any context, any text of that one, and they can find out remedy also.
Like the same way, yes, sir, I understood. Like the same way, as you told that now, you gave an example like how the Kerala tribals, they bring water from a higher level to their villages, likewise, sir. And we are considering that as a knowledge, but not as a practice. They are doing it as a practice, but not as a knowledge, sir. If I am wrong, please correct me, sir. This type of segregation about the knowledge and the practice, or all these type of words and all the these type of ideas are imposed through after the colonial period, because the tribals also having a knowledge, and they know about that from top to down the water will come, and they know about they didn't use any other wooden trees or any other wooden plants for that water travel. They used bamboo, means they are having a knowledge that the water will come inside the bamboos like that. So that's also a knowledge, sir.
No, you have to come for an exact what is knowledge, the definition of knowledge.
Okay.
It is practice. If the new situation that's in between, a drought comes and they lose that water tank or that tank, and they found out that next mountain is having that. How they bring that water here? They are helpless. But knowledge, if you have the knowledge of this kind, they can bring that, the new situation. They can face that new situation. That is why in ancient times, people used to migrate from one place to another place because of this. The new situation, new environmental situation comes, or social system and social situation comes, then they wanted to find, they can't find a remedy for that. The only way they can face that is they themselves move from one place to another where they get water, or they get their livelihood. That is why migration. Why people are now also why Indian people are going to Gulf, especially Kerala people.
I think now still there is a time to differentiate between social scientist and an academic scholar. So just wait until that topic comes. Now I think ML Venkatesh would like to speak. Be brief, sir.
Yes, sir. I am having only one small question, sir.
Yeah.
Whether a discipline it can be placed in both social science and humanities without compromising its futures or limiting its futures.
Yeah, it's a serious question, because as far as social science is concerned, it is that deals with it is because of the data. To define a discipline, you have three things you have to consider. One is what kind of data, the area of the study, where do you collect the data? Then the next one is what is the objective of your study, not your study, the discipline study. Then the third one is to attain that kind of objectives, what kind of methodology you are going to employ. These three things, if you are able to define these three things, it is very easy. A social science is the data is society or culture, nothing else. Then science is the physical world, the physical universe. There is no, that is the demarcation. Then how something comes from science to social science? It is by this definition, I don't know. By this definition, we can't say like that. Yes, the demarcation is there. But methodological problem is there. We are making use of social. Why this social science? It is called a social science. This kind of humanities is called a social science because the social scientists borrow this methodology, the empirical or the objective way of understanding things and measuring things. They get this from this science and applied on this social behavioral pattern, that is the data of social science, and then it is called social science. Then there is a demarcation.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
I think we can continue.
Yeah.
Professor Raghavan.
Yeah. The next one, next slide, Shivkumar. Hello. Shivkumar, okay, it has come. Function of social science. Science propose and social science substantiate and vice versa. That is happening in this universe. Science propose. At last, science propose this is the product that to be consumed by the society. But they are unable to do anything in the society because they are scientists and technologists, and they don't have any mechanism to work on the society. Then, how that product becomes a commodity? Marketing and demand. All these things is based. No, it is basically social system, part of social system. The social scientist deals with this social system, and they can find out a way for these things. So all the time, directly or indirectly, whatever science propose or technology, it's a continuation, this technology also propose, then substantiate by this social science. The vice versa also happens sometimes, you see. You see this postmodern thought, when it has come, after 1980, postmodern thought, 70s, the beginning of 70, and by 80 it is very strong, and then by 90 it moves in the life of the people, or the next life, this decision-making authority takes that into practice. You see, why postmodernism has come? In this case, the first step is by this social scientist, humanities and social scientist, postmodern thought. And slowly, this science and technology comes in. So, because of the market, they're talking about market and consuming behavioral pattern of the consumption and other things are very, very important in this postmodern thought. And later, the thing that this science interfere and the whole thing, that technology, one after another, coming and this we reached at a stage of globalization through liberalization. So that is why I used to say that science propose and social science substantiate and vice versa. It happens in both cases. The other thing is that what is the role of social science? Social science produces knowledge, theories, and social, political, economic system work accordingly. That is the responsibility of the social scientist. They used to examine, or they used to study on the social situation the society, and they find out the solution. If there is a problem, they feel a problem. That problem will be solved by the social scientists, and they give some proposals, and that will be taken care of by the authority, by the power, and later that problem will be solved. So social science is very, very responsible for whatever happens in this world. It is the responsibility is more than the scientist. That's my opinion about this. Next one. Production of knowledge in relation to politics. Then you see, during colonial industrial capitalistic period, what happened in this academic arena? Identifying the truth, identifying this origin, identifying the evolution, like that on those days used during colonial industrial capitalist period. During, I don't want to know, I don't know how much knowledge also. Still, I think I came to examine so many things. I came to this decision. During nation-state socialistic period, that means after this 1950, even before that also nationalistic period, because in the beginning of Renaissance, in Europe, this nationalistic movement, this romantic nationalism was strong. And all these World War and other things happened because of that nationalistic feeling. But as a nation, the whole world is moving towards nation state after the post-colonial period. That period, I think Swagareddy will give more details about this when we come for discussion. And so this period, nation-state period, each country has its own existence, political, economic, and all other way also. And they were working for the socialist. The game of all the countries attain socialism or communism. And you see, on those days, what happened in the academic arena? You see that structuralism was so strong. Everything, the ideology of structuralism, because the ideology of structuralism and ideology of nation state are the same. I don't have much time to explain that. Nation is a structure. Nation is a system. So that is why that political reason is playing behind this. That is why in 1916, Saussure came with this idea of the structure and other things, no? In linguistics. And later it was taken care of by all other social scientists, even science also, structure. Maybe in botany also, in taxonomy. And structure and system was the main academic endeavor happened after in the beginning of 20th century. And it ends with post-structural period. That is, by 1980, structuralism has gone. Why? It has no role because nation state has the power or existence as a nation state thereafter. Now we used to say that we are countries like we are republic and we are independent and everything, but in principle, ideologically, if you examine all these things, the existence of these nations, then we understand that this structure and system is not working in the political reality. So that is I wanted to say only this much, that we used to say that academicians are free. We are fighting out ultimate truth. It is not so. We are part of this system. the ideology behind this, the common ideology works behind. And you see during post-colonial neo-capitalistic period, you see deconstruction and so many more Ds, so many D. Decentralization, deconstruction, so many Ds, okay, so many things. You know, the post-structural features of post-structural period, and this one. Next one. The concept of development. That's, I wanted to say that a seed of globalization sown in, yes, and when universals are considered as truth. That is the beginning of this one. That means that what we called Renaissance. And after, as a result of this Renaissance, we considered truth. Truth is something eternal. Truth is something universal. And the ultimate truth is that only. That the way how to reach this universal truth is through generalization, that is denial of the diverse reality. Attain civilization is considered as the ultimate goal of human life. Civilization is an understanding, an unending process. That's also a thing. What is the aim of the humanity? It is accepted that civilization. So all the people wanted to or give room in this civilized society, then that is the ultimate goal. But the problem is that the civilization is not a ending one. It's an unending process. Because through this science and technology, new novel products are coming. It is released from the industry. And that is the criteria. That will become the criteria for the civilized society. Then it is an unending process. Like in a short story, it is called, I can Tolstoy, that somebody wanted to get this land. So I don't have time to explain that. Okay. Rating of cultural evolution is one of the basis, on the basis of the consumption of industrial product systems. Cultural evolution is on the basis of the civilized. Who is civilized? Who are able to get this fine, that's universal products, consume universal product, and who are having that purchase power. They are called civilized people. The so-called development is aimed at maximum industrial production and creating infrastructure in support of that and its distribution. This is development. What is development? Development is maximum industrial production. And for that, it demands infrastructure, road, anything, building, rail, or anything, aviation or anything, that infrastructure. Because we consider this road, rail, and aviation is considered as more important because the movement of these people as well as commodity throughout the world. Without that, this product won't be sold out. So won't be created also, produced also. So that is why infrastructure, main infrastructure is this transportation. Okay, then next one. Is it finished? Yeah. Knowledge to development. Yesterday, I explained that, showed that two diagrams, that is two kinds of possibilities that we have as far as development is concerned. One is uplifting model. Uplifting model is more democratic, I think. Then another one is unification model almost all academic efforts during the last 3 centuries are directly or indirectly in support of unification model of development. That is the thing happens. And we are going to, I am dealing with all these things because we wanted to put our subject from the beginning, when it was popular antiquities, till this day. What happened to where we do locate our subject in this academic this area, in the academic this area? We had to locate. That is why I wanted to put everything. No, that is why 4 classes are for this academic thing, knowledge and development and industry and other thing. Then slowly we will come to this our own this folklore and what happened to folklore all these days. What have been happening to folklore as a subject, not only subject, as a data, what happened all these centuries, and evaluate that, and then we had to think about the future of folklore and folkloristics. That is my intention. That is why I wanted to make a big basement for the evaluation of folklore. Unless we understand this, that is why we are still singing and dancing in the name of folklore. I am not, you may be feeling that I am against all these things. I am not against all these things. So I am, as an academician, as a folklorist, I have a strong idea about these such things, because we are at a stage of peril as far as this development is concerned, as far as this movement is concerned, cultural or this movement is concerned. So, what's the role of folklorists in this context? That is the main thing that so we have to, while thinking about these things, what is our position about development? Because development is based on, all development affects the life of the people, and life is very, very important, and like on the life, the development is working. So that life is the life of group of people, system, social system. It affects the social system. So that is why, what kind of this development we need as a discipline. Where do we stand for a sustainable development? That is the main question that we are going to deal with in this workshop. It is not a simple thing, silly thing. So we have 2 models. That is uplifting model. That uplifting model is, I will explain. I think we can come. Almost all academic efforts during the last 3 centuries are directly or indirectly in support of unification model of development. So next, then I can explain the next diagram. What's the time now? Yeah, 2 post.
8:45.
So time is 8:40. You can take another 10 minutes.
Yeah. Otherwise, we can continue. Tomorrow we can continue this. Now, don't this. No, this.
Only 2 more slides. Only 2 more slides.
Yeah. Then we can finish. We can, if you want this discussion, I think we can go for tomorrow. We can do that. Okay. This will 2 kind of lifting. That means the lower part in the first figure, that is the local culture, or in our terminology, it is folklore. Then, according to the surrounding pressure, we also used to say that the surrounding pressure, that is why folklore gets so many texts. In the early time also, we accepted that idea. So we have a culture, or we have a folklore of ourselves, because folk life, that folk life, according to the need of the hour, the pressure of the maybe environmental pressure, the situation where a particular folk live, and the social pressure, it gets, we can move from one place to another, or we can totally discard our culture or folklore and accept another way of life. That also can be possible. But as far as folklore is concerned, it gets a new text. We had to create a atmosphere to create a new text out of that text according to the social and environmental pressure, and a new developmental state will reach. You see, second and third and fourth, and at last an uplifted culture in diverse. Whatever happens in the science and technology, we accept that. And according to that, without losing our own environment and social thing, we had to uplift our society, uplift our nature, surroundings, and everything. And you get a new culture, your own culture, a unique culture. I think Mahatma Gandhi was for this kind of a development. So he wanted to say that each village has self-reliant existence, should have self-reliant existence, and they had to develop by its own. So that is one kind of development. The other one is unification. That means culture 1, culture 2, and culture 3. All culture moves towards a unified culture. That is consumption of unified. What is culture? Culture is consumption of consume the nature or culture. That is actually a culture doing. Whatever we have, we consume. A universal product, consumption of universal products, and consumption universal social system, consumption of when our practicing universal the family system, and by that we will become a universal member of the universal community. That is also possible. This universe, this world is moving to that direction. That is in the name of globalization. That is the thing. Next one. No. Before that, anyone? Shivumar, that this is the that's one. Knowledge and unification model of development. You see, but in this picture, that diagram begins with in search of universal truth and ends with globalization. That happened in this last 3 centuries. You see, universal truth we found out. In one hand, left hand is science and technology, universal truth, and the other hand it's social sciences, and they find out universal truth. And that science, especially science, application of science, it is then moves towards technology. And technology moves the application of technology, that is called industry. And that industry moves, release so much of products. And that product, when it goes to the market, it has a commodity value. That is, it has a value, and by selling and buying, so it becomes a commodity, and that commodity needs consumers. And at last, the ultimate goal of this make the people consumers of particular product, or that is immaterial. That consumerism, common consumption of unified consumption of this industrial product day by day, and make the people having the purchase this ability, purchase power to consume this new product. That is called this civilization, and that is called development, and that leads to globalization. So that is the thing. That one. Next one. Okay. Yeah. Knowledge and development. The conclusion. This is the last one. So whatever I taught, more than half an hour, that is, I put it in one slide. That is what happened by science and social science and humanities after Renaissance. Denial of existing reality. That is the common feature of science, social science, or humanity. It denies the existing reality, that is diverse reality. Because the base of science or base of knowledge production is generalization. If you wanted to generalize something, you have to deny either, if there are 10, you have to deny 9 and take one as general. Or you have to put all these things together and find out a new one as 11th one as reality. So that is happening. So in both cases, what happens is denial of existing reality. Here, I wanted to mention about Levi-Strauss. That is why I am so particular about Levi-Strauss. The main objection of Levi-Strauss as an academician, he wanted to oppose the whole academic world that you are telling lie. Because a text, he talked much about this, he studied much about this myth. A myth, when it gets so many texts in a particular society, particular community, that means inside that society, there are so many problems inside the society, and they wanted to deviate from this one text that they kept for a long time, and they wanted to deviate from that and move. Some group of people move from that group to another group, and they create a new text out of that. So that is a social problem. While we never see this inside a society, what happened, what made them to make new text out of this earlier text. So many texts for one text. So we had to consider, while studying this, we had to consider each and every text. It is behind each and every text, there is the life of the people is there. We have no right to object any text. So that is his idea about this text. That's why I'm so particular, as far as a folklorist, I'm so particular about Levi-Strauss. Universals are ultimate truth. That is another problem. Why? That is the thing that we are going to end with this workshop, I think. Why these universals? Universals deny the diverse reality and the diversity principle behind each and everything. No, we are no. The thing is that now you may think that I am against this universal truth and this science and other thing. No, universal truth is there. The problem that a universal law, a universal knowledge, universal principle gets different manifestation because of this environmental pressure as far as science is concerned, and social pressure as the social sciences are concerned. They create a number of texts out of single text. And that text, different texts, it has a rule. You know, if you go and study this, why it happens, no? Why a universal principle get so many different manifestations? We had to find an answer for that. If you are able to answer that question, that is called as a diversity principle. not a universal principle, but diversity principle. We never bothered about that. Then another problem is infallibility of cultural evolution theory. Morgan never thought like that, I think. It will be accepted like that, it will affect the society, the whole world, the whole culture, the whole life of the people in this way. But cultural evolution theory still works. That ideology still works. The pride of mankind that this universe is for his consumption. That is another false idea that we created during modern period that created by the humanity. Why this universe? It is for us, not for other things. All the plants, flora and fauna has its own right. All species has its own right to live in this universe. Why we put this power on other animate or inanimate of this world, universe, and we are proud of this one, that we are the master of this world. This is created by the science and social science, okay? Then the correction of modern knowledge is on the foundation of the above given facts. Whatever we have today, it is these four ideas that I expressed, you see in the in this slide. That is the cause of whatever we have today. This is about knowledge and development. I think tomorrow we will talk about parallelism between industry, that I gave some other title, and I think a little change in that title, parallelism between knowledge production and industrial production, industry. So thank you for your patience, because now it is almost 9, I think. Sorry for this. It is because of the nature of this subject. I took much time. Sorry for that.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Participants, you can interact for another 5 to 10 minutes. Already it is 8:53. So you have 10 minutes. 10 to 15, it's okay. Now I request the participants to interact. If you need any clarification, if anyone would like to speak, please raise your hand. Raise your hand, not through video, but there is a one sign. Yeah.
Anybody wanted to have any clarification of
Yes,
something?
yes, I have
Otherwise, you can
one
write
more.
this one tomorrow and send to us, and we will look into, and we will know.
Sir, just only one doubt, sir. If we see all the things as a commodity and development on that basis and consuming the commodity on that basis, and where our value system and values are lies.
Okay, that is the question you have. Okay, the value system is not a permanent one. So, as far as the science and social science are concerned, even social system also is part of as a commodity. They work on that, they give new model for that. No, the value system is not a permanent one. So, as far as the science and social science are concerned, even social system also is part of as a commodity. They work on that, they give new model for that. No, the value system is not a permanent one. So, as far as the science and social science are concerned, even social system also is part of as a commodity. They work on that, they give new model for that. No, British people made it. For example, British people wanted to introduce this patrilineal system of family in this country. The value system of patrilineal country and this other, so many other Abangu local in Kerala, in some of the communities, and Abangu local and Abangu, everything is there. So that system, value system goes with the other systems, cultural systems. In as far as now social science are concerned, this also is a commodity we can introduce in the society. They work on that. It's a raw material for their study, material for their study, data for the study, the social system, and they find out some truth, and that truth, when they get that truth, they introduce in the society and make the society to follow that kind of attract the society by changing the ideology of the society, and a new value system comes. That's the thing. Not only commodity, in a way, I think in the tomorrow we will discuss on that, because social science and science has no difference nowadays, because these both are constructing, producing commodity. That is, social system also is a commodity as far as this is concerned. That we will discuss tomorrow. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah. Sudhakar Reddy. Oh, they are not here, right?
I'm here.
Okay, sir. We don't have much time. Okay. Tomorrow we can do one thing. We can, in the beginning, we can have a maybe half an hour or to 15 minutes for discussion. And you can also, because it is something related to postmodern and something related to anthropology, based on anthropology, and I think you can give more enlightenment in this area. Okay.
Yeah.
Today it is very late because we said like that, 9 o'clock at least. We can stop by 9:15 or 9:20. You have something to say, because it will help the students to understand more, because it is my own idea. Is it so, sir?
Yes, sir. No issue.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Where is Chellaperumal?
I think he's not there.
Yeah, okay. Then why don't we stop here, and I think we will.
Okay, is there any participant who would like to speak? Would like to ask? It seems people are keeping pin drop of silence. Okay, then.
Actually, Aranyana is
Yeah, we don't have much time to waste.
Yeah. So.
But it is only 9. Yeah,
I think we'll conclude today. Now,
Ananya has a question, sir.
Okay, please.
Okay, sir. Today's session has been really very enlightening. Sir, I have a question that Professor, our resource person, he has spoken that today that universal truth or universal knowledge, it gets different manifestation because of different environmental pressure, or because of different socio-political context. So isn't this plurality, this concept of plurality, helpful in preserving the diverse reality, in preserving the diversity? That's my question.
Yeah, it's sure, but the situation is not for that, because everybody is for this universal principle and universal consumption of product, universal products consumption. So that ideology works very well. And I don't know, people used to tell about diversity, but they never wanted to keep the diversity as such or with a different text. That means that we can't keep the diversity as such. It has to go. It has to get more and more different text. One text moves towards several diversity in diverse form. So keeping the diversity means uplifting the diversity. That is my argument. Not as such. That is this. When we talk about this one, though, you don't want to keep the tradition as such. According to the environment, according to the context, we have to make new text out of that and appropriate with the socio-political and natural context. That is my argument. Okay, Reddy, you can talk a little bit on that. Yeah, you're unmuted.
Yeah.
No, it is okay.
Yeah, the question is of diversity and universal truth. It's in my opinion, is the perspective. Basically, in what perspective we are looking at the so-called quote and unquote truth. So, if somebody applies to a larger kind of system, then they may consider that as a universal. And universal truth always has this nexus called legitimation process. How one gets legitimized their own systems, their own behavior, their own dominance of power, etc., makes the difference between the universal truth and the diversity. If a dominant culture wants to insist and impose their kinds of systems over the less dominated or the subdued ones, then that is called legitimation. This is exactly what the person, I forgot the Russian, sorry, I forgot the cultural homogeneity, the concept of cultural homogeneity propounded by, what's his name, Gramsci. Gramsci's argument is this. So, in the process of legitimation, the dominant ones makes the decision which is universal truth, and the subdued ones sees it as diversification. So it's in the viewpoint that it actually changes. So there is nothing like a universal truth for all. It is always in the conception of whose point of view that I am looking at. That becomes the major issue. Thank you.
But as far as science is concerned, Sudhakar Reddy,
sir,
there is universal truth. It is true.
No, that sir. No, I have a lot of difference with that. Even sciences, for that matter, science never craved for a universal truth. Basically, science is what? Explaining a phenomena based on certain kinds of observations through freezing, that is experiments. So these experiments brings one particular conclusion, one particular truth, and that truth is negated at a later date. Therefore, the kind of, say for example, at 100 degrees centigrade, water evaporates, is a kind of truth, or it's a kind of experiment that has brought to that particular thing. But now, whether it really does it or not is the question. Now then, if I go to Himalaya and then start burning this water, it will be beyond 100 degrees centigrade only, it starts evaporating, not within 100 degrees. So what the science makes, the assumption is that, or limitation you may call, is that in the normal conditions, at 100 degrees centigrade, water evaporates. So that becomes a condition, a conditional truth, not a universal truth. So there is a difference between the conditional truth and the universal truth propounded by science. So that is the reason why the 17th century science is different from that of this 19th century and 21st century science, because science keeps on adding to the corpus of knowledge. As you rightly said, that knowledge which is applicable is a corpus of knowledge that is stored. and it is kept for the humanities consumption. And therefore, when I start taking from that some portion and trying to experiment with that knowledge or application of that knowledge, then I come up with a new truth. So it cannot be a universal truth, and it is not a static truth.
But it is again, it is a relative science.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yes, it's relative. It is relative.
They are able to explain that by relativism.
Exactly. So what comes is relativism. Relativism is temporal. Yeah. Basically, time and space, that is called temporality. It depends on that temporality, which is called relativism. So in history, we speak of relativism. In folklore, we speak of relativism. In sciences, we speak of relativism. In social sciences, even humanities for that matter, we speak of relativism. So this relativism, as you rightly pointed out, is that which makes the perspective or the point of view different. Yeah.
No, I think even within the same cultural system, you come across both universal and diversity.
Exactly. Agreed.
And this universal will come to other cultural system or alien cultural system. Even though there are also maybe what we call universals, which are almost the same as we have.
Yes.
But it is not the one point that makes the difference. We have other diversities that makes the point.
Yes.
Yeah, to give the identity of those societies. Is it that?
Yes, yes.
Okay, let us.
Now clarification, sir, with regard to yesterday's, somebody raised this question, and today also we have made that slide of cultural revolution. Basically, one small clarification. You have written primitive, then barbaric or barbaric, then civilized, right? 3 levels. So actually what E.B. Taylor uses, not primitive, uses savagery, barbarism and civilization, 3 levels, fine. And you are taking the feature of savagery as primitive, and therefore you are maybe primitive, doesn't matter. But what is the difference between the 3? The difference between the 3 is that the savagery is only the food gathering stage. Food gathering stage by the human culture. All human beings started gathering food, they are not producing, only gathering. So hunting and gathering stage, it is known as hunting and gathering stage. Then comes the barbaric stage where the hunter-gatherer becomes a food producer. He is producing food, kitchen gardening. Jordan Valley, kitchen gardening, Neolithic culture starts emerging because of this food producing stage where the technology changes, etc., etc., etc. So that is a different kind of stage where humans started producing the food. And therefore, agriculture becomes the first way of producing the food, and therefore agriculture becomes what is known as the rural. Because agrarian is rural, connected with village, and so on and so forth. That's how the barbaric stage is associated with agriculture and peasantry. Now the third stage is, it is not just food producing stage, but food controlling stage. The distribution and control. Who does it? It is done by the urban centers, the industrial, the capital. So the capitalistic stage is where the food is controlled, in the sense that it can supply or de-supply the food processes, the food kind of this thing. So the cultures have emerged into a larger kind of system where they started producing food. Say for example, initially individual houses make bread. Now in the factories, it is made in multiple, in what is known as mass production, where it can be distributed to all cultures at any time in a given time. And because this particular product is for a larger, longer time, preservatives, etc., used and longer time. So the food controlling process is the civilized process, is a civilized kind of thing. So this is the 3 stages of difference that normally the social scientists would look at. Thank you.
I think we will, this is the time to conclude. Is there any other participants would like to speak? If nobody is there, I think we will conclude now. Now I request Atul KV to propose vote of thanks. Is there Atul KV? Hello, Atul. Yeah, it seems he is there, but Atul. Okay. Then I ask, no, I request Jisha to propose vote of thanks. Hello, Jisha? Oh. Okay. Jisha, you are not seen. Come on. Yeah. Yeah. Jasha, your audio. Audio.
Audible, sir? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, okay.
Continue. You are audible.
Thank you, sir. Today it was a nice session and it was a very knowledgeable session, and hopefully I think it was the first elaborative session that we had today, and I thank Professor Raghavan Payanan for this tremendous session, and I also thank Sudhakar sir for his presentation, and I thank on behalf of each and every participant, I thank all of you for being here till this time. Thank you all.
Okay, ma. Thank you all. Those who didn't submit your note, please do so by tomorrow. I think I have seen a note submitted by there's so many people. I am really very much thankful for them. And those who didn't submit, do it by tomorrow, including for today's class. Okay, thank you. Good night. We will see you tomorrow. Bye. Yeah.
One request, sir. It's possible to have a WhatsApp group for these participants, sir, because we can have a note sharing and all the things. Possible, please make it.
I could not follow.
No, we are exclusive WhatsApp group for these participants.
Oh.
Yeah, it is there.
No, sir, it is there, but that group all are there, sir. Participants and the resource persons are there. You can send the reading material to us, and we can also share, sir. If possible, please look into it.
Hello, Subramaniam, you have very good experience with the fossils, you know. So fossils will take care of everything. Don't worry. Okay? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.